Alright, this lesson is going to be about solving multiplication and division one-step equations. So go ahead and at the top of your paper you can title it Solving Multiplication and division equations. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and underline it. Just like normal, we're going to go ahead and fold our paper into fourths. So fold my paper in half this way. And then I'm going to also go ahead and fold my paper in half the other way. And if yours is in a notebook, you can just draw lines down and across. I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines in. And we will start off with the problem of the day to get our minds kind of working, thinking about what we're going to do. Okay, so you can go ahead and see I drew my lines in here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and write a problem of the day. Okay, and we know that whenever we work through a problem of the day, we're going to obviously, the first box, have our problem. Okay. In our second box, we're going to have the plan. You'll then have, move this down a little bit here, we'll have our work. And we'll check and write our answer in sentence form. Okay, so make sure you have all of those written down. Work, check on the bottom, problem, and plan up at the top. If you're following along in the textbook, we are going to be on page 164 and it's problem number 37. So if you don't have your textbook with you, I'm going to put it underneath the document camera here for you. Move it over a little bit. It says, James is in charge of purchasing tickets for the Atlanta Braves baseball game. Each student paid $6 per ticket and collected $288. Okay. And he collected $288. Okay, so let's write down some of the information. Okay, we'll write down this problem here together. So I'm going to go ahead and say that our friend James, he purchased student tickets for a baseball game. Okay, and let me maybe focus a little bit better. And I'm going to also say that each student paid $6 per ticket. Okay. I'm going to say James collected $288. And it looks like what we need to do is we're going to find out how many students are going to the game. So how many students are going to the game? Okay. All right. So if you're watching this, I'd recommend that you go ahead and pause the video right now and think about some sort of plan you could do to find the answer for this. Okay. All right, so I was kind of thinking about this a little bit more, and if each student paid $6 and he collected $288, I was thinking maybe I could find out like how many groups of 6 wanted 288 or something like that. I'm not quite sure, so I'm going to say, say find how many groups of 6 goes into 288. I also maybe want to create an equation, so that's another idea of how I could actually solve this. So we'll go through the notes for today, and then we'll come back and actually solve this together. All right, so go ahead and grab your next sheet of paper. And this time it's actually, I think we're going to do a little bit differently. We are going to actually still fold it in half. So still going to fold it in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold it into thirds because I'm going to want 6 boxes instead of 4. So go ahead and fold it into thirds. Kind of like if you were mailing something in the mail, fold it into thirds. Okay. So if you need to, pause the video and make sure you have it down. So we're going to have a line straight down the center like normal. Okay. And these are for our notes. Okay. But now we're going to have it in thirds. Okay, so I have 6 boxes on my view. Alright, so let's go ahead and work through this. We're going to have, for all of these, it's going to be, so let's just write the instructions at the top here. Solve each equation and check your work. Okay. Alright, so please write the problems down with me. We're going to have example 1, and it's going to be 3y equals 45. Okay, now this is probably back to the basics for you. You probably don't need too much help with this, but let's just talk through it together. The 3 is being multiplied by the y, so we need to solve for y. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. What you do to one side of the equation, you must do the other side. The left-hand side, the 3's get crossed out. And 45 divided by 3 is going to be 15. Now we need to check our work before we actually say this is the final answer, so let's go through and check it. So I'm going to plug it back into my original equation. So 3 times 15, does that actually equal 45? 3 times 15 is 45. So this is true, and our answer is 15. Okay. All right. Let's go over to the next problem. Next one we're going to have is example 2. Okay, and it's going to be 16 equals negative 2h. And we're going to need to solve for h, so take a moment and think about how would I get h by itself. And then go ahead and see if you can get that figured out. So we're going to want to get rid of this 2, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing both sides by a negative 2. 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8. So let's do a quick check, show that it works for our equation. So I'm going to plug negative 8 in for h. Negative 2 times negative 8 is 16, so that is true. So my answer is correct, and I'm going to box that as my correct answer. Make sure you have all this work down, and then let's move on to example number 3. All right, example 3 is going to be the problem. 7.4a equals negative 37. Okay. We're going to want to solve for a, so the opposite of multiplying is we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 7.4. Please be doing this on your paper as well. We're going to say a equals, now if you need to take out a calculator, or if you want to try doing this in your head, that's fine. You might need to pause this for a moment if you need some extra time. But when we work through it, a equals negative 5. So let's do a quick check. Make sure our answer is correct. So we're going to say 7.4 times negative 5, does that equal negative 37? I'm going to do my work here on the side. 7.4 times 5. 4 times 5, oops, let me move it up for you. 4 times 5 is going to be 20. Carry the 2. We get 35, so we have 37, but we have to move over 1 decimal place. Okay, now remember a positive times a negative is a negative 37. So this works out for us. and our answer is correct. Okay, do a couple on your own right now. We're going to do the your turn problems. If you're following along the textbook, it's page 161. So let's go ahead and move over a box, and these are going to be the your turn problems. Okay, so letter A, give them all to you, and then you can work them on your own. 4t equals 28. Make sure you show your check. Okay, let's go down to the bottom here. Letter B is going to be 19.2 equals negative 6d. And letter C is negative 0.01 m equals negative 7. Okay? So make sure you have those two down. Make sure you check that you have them down correctly for B and C. And you move it back up to A here. And you should go ahead and work through these. If you're watching the video, I'd recommend that you pause it right now. Make sure that you get all the answers. Make sure you're checking your work. And then we'll come back together in a moment. Alright, letter A, let's go ahead and solve for t. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. So t ends up equaling 7. I'm going to show a quick check to make sure it's correct. Plug it back in. 4 times 7. Does that equal 28? Yes, it does. So I know my answer is correct. Okay, t equals 7. Letter B, we need to solve for our variables. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. You might be doing this by hand, or you could be using a calculator. And we get that D equals negative 3.2. I'm going to show that it's correct by doing my quick check. So I'm going to say 19.2. Does that really equal negative 6 times negative 3.2? If you need to, plug it into your calculator, do the workout. We get 19.2 on both sides. So this does work, and our answer should be negative 3.2. Alright, letter C. We're going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 0.1. If I do to one side, I need to do to the other side. So what we end up getting is m equals negative 70. So let's do a quick check. Make sure our work is correct. So negative 0.1 times negative 70. Does that actually equal negative 7? Ooh, I'm actually seeing a mistake already in my work right here. Do you guys see how up here it was a negative divided by negative, so it should have been a positive 70, so I'm going to change this to a positive 70. Alright, so negative 0.1 times 70 is indeed negative 7. So my answer is correct. Good thing I did that check to make sure it was actually right on. Alright, I have finished up with this first part of the video. Go ahead and move on to look at the second part of the video.